International Association for Trade Unions, Mr. Comrade Leroy Baptiste, President of the Public Service Association, to bring greetings. Warm welcome.
Faizabad! Faizabad! Let me start by saying thank you. I want to thank you, Faizabad. Right. I want to thank, all you hear me now? I want to thank you, Faizabad. Because come here for a reason, you know. All you thinkers, all you must just be wanting to hear me, eh? I just want to hear you, Faizabad. Because last year, after hearing you, I just hold on to what I've heard. I just hold on to what I've heard. And you see, last year, boy, when I get my yearly dose of Faizabad, it has keep me. It has keep me for the whole year. Yeah, comrades, it's not an easy thing to take on the state. But when I come here, I just get my yearly dose of belly. I just get my yearly dose of steadfastness. I just get my yearly dose of commitment. Comrades, they just send people from inside, they send people from outside, they send people in the media, TTT, CNC3, TV6, I-95, the court. Comrades, they send people in the parliament. Because why? We had to fight them. And they tell themselves when they bring all them people, boy, he must give up. And hear what? When they send everybody and they feel are still standing up, you know who they send next? They send Christmas. They say when Christmas come in, he must sign 4%. Comrade, thanks to you, I just reflect on you. When you say no to 4%, I know no matter what to do. So, comrade, I just come here for my yearly dose. So, all you know, I want to hear you this year, comrade. This year, all you have to tell, because of next year, that being an enemy of the state is not no easy thing, comrade. They want to come at WASA. They want to come at BIR. They want to come at customs. They want to come at AGC, NIB. Here now, comrades. They want to come at workers. So I need you. We come here to get the energy from you, comrades. Give yourself a round of applause. So, comrades, let me look to my speech before I go on, you know. I try to be shortish, as usual. I'm glad always saying that, you know, because people say speak the truth. I don't have no time to talk about struggle, you know. I'm not talking about something like we have a struggle. No, not a struggle we have. We have the PNM administration that we must get rid of. It's time we stop these kind of generic terms. We know what the problem is. And we, the collective in Faizabad, can deal with this problem once and for all. "2025 is right round the corner, comrades. I watched the crowd that passed through here today, and I tell you, we can make a government, and we can damn well break a government. Comrades, let me focus, because I done vex. But I want to hear from you, comrades. I hear you. Before the speech has ended, you got to tell me more than just Rory must go. I think I hear that enough. All you have to tell me who must stay. But I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. Comrades, firstly, let me recognize the many trade union leaders gathered here today to commemorate Labor Day. We salute you, comrades, all the trade union leaders. Put your hands together for the trade union leaders. Particularly, comrades, let me recognize the leadership of OWUTU that has steadfastly ensured that Labor Day celebrations are held every single year without exception. Comrades, we salute Comrade Roger and his team. Put your hands together for them. Let me also recognize the thousands of workers who have made the journey down to Faizabad to commemorate Labor Day. We salute you, comrades. Give yourself a round of applause. Comrades, before I go into what I'll call my main statement, I want to set the record straight with 3 issues that occurred over the year. Between last Labor Day and this Labor Day. First issue, the PM made a statement, comrades, that he is disappointed with the leadership of PSA for taking the TTRA to Privy Council. All you heard that? The second issue, the PM again decided that he could attack yours truly because he opined in the parliament that while Leroy Baptiste would have a problem with contract work. All you heard that? And the last issue that I want to deal with is, I have a real difficulty with this one. Because all of a sudden, comrades, the government has absolved itself of its failure to effectively treat with the scourge of crime, and instead has transferred the responsibility and the blame for the uptick on crime on parents. On parents, comrade. And there are people going left, right, and saying, boy, it's parenting. Comrade, I have a problem with that. So let me start with the first one. Comrades, you have all been hearing of the issue of TTRA for years now in the public domain. Haven't you? Comrades, do you know that to date, the government has never engaged the PSA in any discussions as it relates to the TTRA? Do you know that, comrades? Comrades, I want to hear from you. Do you know that? Do you know that public officers are asked to make life-changing choices and they do not have the benefit of obtaining advice from their union? Do you know that? Do you know that when public officers approach the union, all we could tell them is that, boy, just what you know is what we know, because they have never engaged the union, not for a single day. Do you know that, comrades? Do you know that public officers, among the choices they have to make is to decide whether they want to leave on a VSEP in the TTRA? And guess what? They have never sat with the PSA to agree on a VSEP on behalf of workers. Do you know that? Do you know that they're promising and this one only was frightened because all you know what promises from Rowley and them mean. They promised TTRA, the Board of Inland Revenue and Custom Workers, all kind of things they go get in TTRA. Comrade, you believe them? You believe Rowley? But they refusing to meet with the union so that these things could be settled, so it could be binding upon them. Do you know that, comrades? Comrades, the first issue, let me be clear. There is no engagement with us, comrades, so that when you see us in court, it is because we have no choice but to be in court on behalf of our brothers and sisters, BIR and Customs, comrades. That is the truth. Do you understand that, comrades? Newsflash, comrades, newsflash for the PM. If the Prime Minister of this country is disappointed with the leadership of the PSA, no one cares. All you have me? No one cares. As a matter of fact, if the Prime Minister was happy with the leadership of the PSA, then you ought to run from the PSA, comrades. Do you understand, comrades? But here in Faisabad, the PM must know that workers are disappointed and disgusted with his leadership of the government. Do you agree, comrades? So let the records, let's go back to him, that we in Faisabad are disappointed and disgusted at the leadership of this PNM government. Put your hands together, comrades. The second issue, comrades. PM, again going parliament. And he said that he don't understand why Leroy Baptiste have difficulty with contract work. Him, he said if you give somebody a 6 months contract, and then if the project continues, you give them a next 3 months. What could be wrong with that? Why Leroy Baptiste have a problem with that? Comrades, you ever hear me talk that rush? That we have a problem with that? Here what we have a problem with. We have a problem when people doing a job of a continuous nature, and you're looking to give them a 6 months and a 3 months contract for 15, 16, 17, 20 years. We have a problem with that. Ask the people in the RHA. They're working 15 years, 16 years, and they are still on contract, comrades. Ask the people in Wassa. 15 years, 16 years, they're still on contract. Ask the people in HDC. Ask the people in the public service. Comrade, that is damn well wrong. That is exploitation of workers. And that is what Leroy Baptiste have a problem with. So comrades, Faisabad, are we in one accord that if you're in a job of a continuous nature, you are deserving of a permanent job? Do you agree, comrades? With no service loss, I hear you, comrade. Not a bit. Because, comrades, if you didn't know, TTRNA carried this matter to court. The industrial court ruled that if you're in a job of a continuous nature, they are permanent jobs, and ordered that the government make these people permanent. Do you know what this wretched PNM government done? They appealed the decision and they asked for a stay. That is the problem we have. So let the Prime Minister know he concerned about what Leroy Baptiste's view of the contract workers. Hear me. Our view will never change. If you're in a job of a continuous nature, we will fight for permanent jobs for each and every worker in this country. The next issue, comrades, that is a little troubling to me again, is this blame. This blame of parents for the scourge of crime. I could have never thought, not for a moment, that when you elect a government and you pay your taxes, that somehow it would become unreasonable to expect them to secure your life and your property. I would have thought that your security was the primary reason for the need of a government. Somehow, we are expected to forget about the government and blame parents. And when they say parents, comrades, they are not talking about 1% parents. They are talking about working class parents, comrades. They want you to blame yourself for the scourge of crime. Firstly, comrades, of what benefit? What benefit derived from blaming parents? Are we to expect parents to go and speak to the would-be home invader or the would-be murderer and say, don't do it? Is it that we're supposed to do? Do we really believe that these parents could speak to the 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds who committing these acts, comrades? What utter rubbish. We are in the throes of crime and we must blame parents. How on earth is that helping our situation, comrades? Other than deflecting from the government where the responsibility solely lies. It is useless blaming parents for something they cannot influence or fix in the short term. When crime is affecting us on a daily basis, the government is called to action, and if they can't do the job, they must go. Comrades, do you agree? Faisal, do you agree that they must go? But hear what? Hear what is also true. That there is a correlation between poverty and crime. Therefore, if the government wants to impact crime, it must treat with working class issues, comrade. It must ensure that working class parents have good paying jobs. Do you agree? It must ensure that working class parents could afford a home in order to provide a shelter for their families. Do you agree, comrades? It must ensure working class parents can put food on the table. Do you agree, comrades? It must ensure that working class parents' salaries are kept in step with inflation so that they can maintain their standard of living. Do you agree, comrades? It must ensure that parents have permanent jobs to enable them to plan and organize their lives. Do you agree, comrades? It must ensure that working class parents could provide a nurturing environment with support structures such as school supervision, after school supervision, babysitters, lessons, to create an enabling environment for their children to benefit from schooling. Do you agree, comrades? In short, comrades, government's policies can impact the ability of parents to adequately take care of their families. Where government fails, family fails. Let me repeat. Where government fails, family fails. It is therefore the government and the government alone that is responsible for the state of crime directly by its failures to address the present state of crime with counter-crime measures, and indirectly by its deleterious economic policies that negatively impact the standard of living of our citizenry. If a parent cannot take care of themselves, they cannot take care of their children. Do you agree, comrades? Comrades, Labor Day was originally intended, even beyond our shores, to celebrate the contribution of workers in the economic and social development of our society. It was to recognize that it was on the backs of ordinary workers that the development of society rests. Society comes to nothing without workers. Let me repeat, comrades. Society comes to nothing without workers. Are you clear that that is the truth, comrades? Are you clear? Are you clear that if workers at the hospitals and the clinics stop working, that society will come to nothing? Are you clear? Are you clear if workers at TNTX stop working, that society comes to naught? Are you clear, comrades? Are you clear? If public officers that give you their ID card, your passport, your death certificate, your driver's permit, your birth certificate, that if they stop working, that society comes to naught. Are you clear, comrades? Are you clear if WASA workers stop working, society comes to naught? Are you clear if the corporation, the people who dispose of our garbage, that if they stop working, this society comes to naught? Comrades, these are but a few examples of workers who contribute to the development of society. And this day ought to have been about recognizing and celebrating the contribution of workers by everyone, including those who benefit most, that is, the 1% and their puppet government. We should have been celebrating that society owes its economic development to the blood and sweat of workers. And therefore, workers' economic lives matters, comrades. But alas, it wasn't to be. Instead of celebration, we find ourselves having to engage in the reaffirmation of our relevance to society. The powers that be, and by powers I mean this PNM administration, has set about by its words and its actions to demonize and demoralize and cast workers into a state of servitude and enslavement, that we have left, that all that we felt were things of the past, which have been replaced by concept of decent work, social justice, and collective bargaining. Unfortunately, comrades, we come together on this Labor Day not to celebrate, but to stand shoulder to shoulder to stave off the attack on our lives and our livelihood. We come to identify with each other's struggle so that we know we are not alone. We are here, therefore, to feed off each other's strength to face our enemy. An enemy that, if allowed, will sentence us to a life of misery, not just for ourselves, but a life of misery for our children and our grandchildren, comrades. This is an enemy that has been dismissive of your plight and has asserted that things are good with you. They have said that they have raised gas prices over and over, and you ain't riot yet. Only recall that, comrades. They have said that you have parked your vehicles on Arapita Avenue having beers. That means things are good with you. You know that they have said that, comrades. The Prime Minister, last Parliament, he said, hey, go and try to get a park. Them people go in reggae concert in the Savannah. They have money, things good with them. That is a lie, that things are not hard with you. They have said you are happy Do you recall that, comrades? Are you happy that you can't afford a home, comrades? Are you happy that you had to, all your money go towards paying a rent when the month reach, comrades? Are you happy that 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds are still living in their mother's home? Are you happy about that, comrades? Comrades, are you happy that left, right, and center, they're trying to retrench people? WASA, BIR, and Custom, HGC, and the like. Are you happy about that? Are you happy that they didn't want to give all you, they didn't want to consolidate your COLA, and they want to give you 4% for 6 years? Are you happy about that, comrade? Are you happy that the gap between the haves and the have-nots are widening all the time, comrades? Are you happy about that? Are you happy that with the proliferation of contract work, where jobs are of a continuous nature, are you happy about that, comrades? Are you happy that they're trying to make you voiceless with the decimation of the trade union movement? Are you happy about that, comrades? Comrades, in a normal society, all we would have to do was to take industrial action and have them on bended knees. But this society is not normal. They have laws in this society that has made it illegal for us to take industrial action. By not being able to take industrial action, comrades, they have rendered unions no more than toothless bulldogs with bark and no bite. And here what they do, tell you, take it or leave it. Take 4% or leave it. Take no consolidation of COLA or leave it. That is our situation now. Are you aware of that, comrades? Well, today, this Labor Day, there is an answer to this dilemma. There is a collective action that we all can take that is not against the law. That collective action, comrade, that could bring an end to this dilemma is that we must vote them out. The problem after that, you know what they say? Hey, who we go put, boy? All you know the treaty talk? Who we go put? And by the time we say that, everybody start to engage in all kind of analysis. Boy, hey, we have to get a labor union. Boy, maybe we could support Michaela. And all kind of, and here what happens? Here what happens? At the end of the day, people just go in the booth, and when they call an election, they felt somehow that in that booth, it have a ballot that marks P&M yes or no. So if you don't like P&M, you'd have vote no, and then you'd have be comfortable that you vote them out. Comrades, that do not exist. That do exist. We here must be prepared to use our numbers and ensure that the P&M is vanquished from the corridors of power. when we analyze, there is only one thing you need to make a decision with. Who can ensure that the PNM is no longer in power? There is an old wise saying that the enemy of my enemy is my friend, comrade. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. We therefore have no choice as a labor movement. If you don't want the PNM because they're destroying your lives, and not just your lives, the lives of your children and your grandchildren, comrades. If you want to bring that to an end, you have to make a decision who you're going to negotiate with to improve the lives of yourself and your children and your grandchildren. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Because I'll tell you what, comrades, 5 more years of the PNM will bring an end to this trade union movement. I know you're worried. All you're ready to swallow that bitter pill. If we don't get rid of the PNM next year, we are all in trouble, comrades. Not 5 years from now. We have to get rid of the PNM next year, please God. So, comrades, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. When I in a struggle, comrades, I clear about that. If a man have his knees on my neck and I can't breathe, anybody who could help me remove that knee from my neck is my friend. Therefore, who is our enemies? Who is responsible for the state of this economy? Who is responsible? Who is responsible for the attack on workers, comrade? Who is responsible for the widening of the gap between the haves and the have-not the last 9 years? Who is responsible for the suppression of wages for the last 9 years? Who is responsible for imposing 4% on the working class, comrades? Therefore, who is our enemy, comrades? It's time we talk straight in Labor Day. This is the place to talk the truth. This is the place we have to solve our problems. We can't behave as this struggle is some kind of hairy-fairy thing. No! It is a struggle against the ruling class. It's a struggle against those who are in charge, who are oppressing us, and we must call them out. They are the enemy of the working class. They are our enemies. Come on. Comrades, the obvious next question that we must ask, if the enemy of my enemy is my friend, then let's answer. Who is the arch enemy of my enemy? I know you're afraid of that one. I know you're afraid of that. I only asking the questions, comrades. I asking the question. Again, who is the arch enemy of our enemy? Therefore, comrades, who is our best friend in this struggle? Comrade, this is not about who you like and who you don't like. This is about your survival. And if you don't care about yourself, you better start caring about your children and your grandchildren, comrades. This is about how we define what will be the world of work that we leave to our children and our grandchildren. If we are good with substandard wages, then run from this talk. If we are good with contract labor, then tell me to go. If we are good with a government telling you take it or leave it, then we good to go. But if you don't like that, if you're watching left, right, and center, the trade union movement getting lick up, workers in TSTT, workers in Petrotrain, they're coming at WASA, they're licking up the open service. If that's what you want, then be afraid of this. But my God, maybe some people are accustomed to abuse. We have grown accustomed to abuse. But I'll tell you this, if you could take the abuse for yourself, my God, you owe it to your children and your grandchildren to leave a better place of work for them. If you're getting a heart attack, comrade, and you go in the hospital, you may have arthritis, but the doctor don't go and take care of that. He is a take care of what could kill you. What could kill the trade union movement if we have 5 more years of that? Who could kill the trade union movement, comrades? Who is our enemy, comrades? Who is the friend in this? Who is the enemy of our enemy, comrades? Comrades, here all I ask, simply put. Comrades, and I really need to hear this from you, because I am clear that the trade union movement cannot take 5 more years of this PNM administration. I am clear about that. I am clear that workers cannot continue for 5 more years on 2013 salary. I am clear about that. I am clear that workers must not be retrenched. I am clear about that. And therefore, there's only one thing I want from this meeting here. I'm talking as the PSA. Here I want from the PSA. Do you agree that we should engage the UNC in meaningful discussions and negotiations? Comrades, I know that hard. Because you have some people, they have never said UNC in their life. I understand that. I understand. But hear me. Comrades, what we are talking about is this. For those in the trade union movement who do not know, that PNM administration is not engaging in negotiations with the trade union movement. That is a fact. So here what I clear about. If we can't negotiate with this government, then we will negotiate with the next government. For those who have forgotten, the last time workers get a real increase in pay was 14% under a UNC government. And therefore all we ask, nothing more, that if this government don't want to negotiate with us, then let us from now start discussing with the next government, because we hold within our hands the ability to make and or break any government of this country. Let us therefore engage directly with the next person, there's no one else, comrade. Think about it. There is no one else who could help us remove the PNM in 2025. We must therefore engage with them and ensure that we are satisfied, that what we ask for is what we shall get if they form the next government of Trinidad and Tobago. Comrades, we must engage them, negotiate with them, and then we'll come and tell you what we have in store, what it means for them to be the next government. And if that is to our satisfaction, then Labour has the power to make and or break any government, and we can make them the next government to ensure that we can take care of ourselves, our children, and our grandchildren, comrades. So, comrades, do you agree for us to engage in this meaningful negotiations? Comrades, I don't play. I'm playing union for all you. I'm telling all you what it will take. We have come here year after year saying the same thing over and over and over again. The time has come to end it. The time has come for the labor movement to exercise what it can do as a collective. As a collective, we can make and or we can break a government. Time to make a government. We will discuss based what you, as the mandate you have given to us. We shall hold the reins of power in 2025 by ensure that it's we Labour who make whoever we wish the government of Trinidad and Tobago. So, comrades, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, comrades. For whatever, comrades, PSA, you are one of many. This Labor Day must represent the many becoming as one. And the man that I wish and I am privileged to introduce, to address you, to make sure that we live here in one accord as the trade union movement.